It's just to see if y'all are paying attention, right? I always mute in the beginning just to make sure y'all are paying attention. Reptar Bro, thank you with the raid. Always lovely to see you. Very fitting that you were the first person to get the new raid animation with the Squirtle Squad. So I couldn't think of a better person to get the first one. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Thursday. How's everyone doing? Everybody doing all right? The question for today is, would you rather say all of your sentences backwards, or, hey, Alfred the dog, thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Question of the day. I needed answers in chat. Would you rather say all of your questions backwards, or have to communicate via charades for an entire week? Sentences backward or charades? Man, people are loving charades. This is a good one. This is overwhelmingly charades. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun if people knew that I had to do it. I'm not sure it'd be fun if they didn't know I had to do it. Imagine like getting pulled over by a cop and like trying to have to explain like what's going on in charades. Fun at first, Sheenan. There you go. And then slowly the wall turns to backwards. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Fun class tonight. Gonna vomit some code. Gonna do some CSS. Excited to kind of build some real world websites tonight. As always, love to hear your responses to the question of the day. So I appreciate that. Thank you for checking in, everyone that checked in. If you haven't checked in yet, ! Check in will take you to today's tweet. Go ahead and retweet and like that so more folks can come learn some CSS with us. As always, like to start off the stream with some questions. Let some folks get in here. So I'm going to go ahead up and pull up Little Leon. I'm going to pull up the questions slide. And we'll start there. All right. Prince with the posture check already. Hold on. Let me get situated here. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Cutter9 said Flexbox is rough. Yeah, Memphis. Unfortunately, we don't have control over the settings yet, so we kind of get what we get. And we stream during prime time, so a lot of times the partners are getting all the good video encoding, but our numbers have been great. Our like every metric that we need for partner is like there. So I think after this week, I'm gonna apply. Now that we're affiliate, we can apply for partner, and then make sure that we get that. That's the only reason we want partners, so we can get those lovely emoticon slots, but also so we get those quality settings. 700 days. Thank you for posting the book. Yeah, some folks, if you're lucky, you can turn it down to 480. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not in our control. Merch update. I have 3 designs done. And the goal is, since we won't have class next Thursday, that gives me all the time to finalize it. So when we come back that Tuesday after the Thursday, so in the US, next Thursday is our holiday called Thanksgiving. So we'll be taking that Thursday off. And then that Tuesday will be the merch drop and the unveiling of the Minecraft server. So we're going to come back to, on that Tuesday, JavaScript, merch, and Minecraft all in one day. So lots to look forward to when we come back. Liquid Words, I saw the continued gift sub. I appreciate that. Thank you. Alrighty, folks. I have one important announcement, so I'm gonna cut the music here. So the important announcement is In a past stream, I mentioned that I had switched to Trader Joe's conditioner. And I have to report out that I will be switching back to my previous conditioner because it's not cutting it. It's starting to dry out my hair. I don't like the volume or bounce it's giving my curls. So just want to make sure, since a lot of you kind of told me that you value my hair recommendations, I can no longer endorse the Trader Joe's conditioner. I gave it a fair shot. As Jelani says, it's lacking. I wanted to love it. I liked it a lot. At first, when I was using it, it was working out well. But I think I'm going back to my argan oil products. So I'm going to give it one more like week, but it's not looking good. So just wanted to make sure I brought that out. I know you come here for the hair tips, and the code is second. So I just wanted to make sure I was being honest with y'all. Cool. Yeah, it's the OGX argan oil, like the light blue bottles, both the shampoo and the conditioner. It's done me well for a long time. I tried to Trader Joe's because it's Trader Joe's. I trust them with a lot of stuff, but it's just not holding it. So I'm going back. All right. I am a big Shea Moisture fan, but my wife hates the smell, so I can't use it, unfortunately. That is my product of choice. Alrighty, folks. Tonight, some fun stuff. Let's talk about what we're going to go through. We are going to look at 2 examples of follow-up emails from our How to Network class. We're going to review some CSS basics, as always. We're going to do some CSS layout, and we're going to do a couple real-world layouts. And the homework for this weekend is going to be to build real-world layouts. So gone are the funny little boxes, and we're going to move into building real things. And when the transition to real things happens, you can typically see a lot of frustration, a lot of doubt, a lot of pause. And so tonight is all about vomiting code, getting things on the screen, getting stuff out there. We'll save the nitty-gritty details. We'll save the nitpicking correctness for a future date. Today is about getting stuff to work, getting layout going. And so I think I even titled this stream like "Come Learn to Vomit Code and Write Bad CSS," because that's what we're gonna do. The number one thing I see when folks get to this point in CSS is hesitation and fear, and it stops them from wanting to build. We're going to throw that all out to the wind. I'm going to show you sloppy code. We're going to have fun trying to build. This weekend is going to be all about building. Forget what the end result is. Forget if it's good, it's optimal. We just want to code. Hot garbage, as Bugaboo said. Yes. Because we want to just get into it. We want to see things going. We want to start to get a feel for things. And I've had folks in the past, like I see this, like I watch my students and I see them just spend 3-4 hours on just a header, because they're so worried about it not being pixel perfect, or it's just not exactly where it wants to be. And so today, abandon all of that. And let's write some vomit and write some bad CSS. And we know that we have some time to clean it up later. All right. 11212. I'm glad you like the poem. It's one of my favorites. If you are on Discord, which I hope you are, !Discord. Today for the materials, you would have noticed that there's a homework submission. So please go ahead and submit your homework if you haven't already during one of our breaks. We always take 2 5-minute breaks. Please take a small portion of that to submit your homework. If you haven't checked in yet, do !check in for me, please. So that way you can go ahead and like and retweet that tweet. We will be moving through these layouts, which will take the bulk of time today. We will be reviewing the networking, and so I'm excited to kind of keep on going. So just make sure you're submitting the homework. Like I said, we're starting to turn it up a little bit. Starting after the holiday break, the expectation is that the homework's submitted before class or during one of the breaks. We're expecting that your networking is picking up and you're actually doing it. So this is one of the last 2 classes where things slide, right? We took some time to get comfortable. We took some time to get where we are now, but now it's time to start dialing it up, start turning it up, folks. So let's lock in. Let's get a going. Cool. Drill Sergeant Leon, let's go. The funny thing is, I'm a lot meaner in person. Not meaner. I'm a lot more strict in person. And so some of my students watch the stream and they're like, who is this person on stream? Because I'm not pushing as hard as I've pushed folks in my day-to-day boot camps. I'm very militant in my normal like in-person boot camps, and I just keep telling them, just you wait. We're gonna turn it up. We're gonna turn up the heat. They like me now. I don't know if they're gonna like me in a couple of weeks. But we're ramping up. We're getting there. We're turning it up, folks. Sarat, thank you for the 50 bits. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Also, I don't know if you noticed the new animation for the cheering as well. That's new. For some reason, I couldn't figure out the default one, but now they're all the lovely Gengar, Haunter, and Ghastly, the evolution there. So that's pretty cool. We saw the raid one too, which is pretty neat. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you for the cheers. Cool. Let's kind of talk through the networking. I want to show you 2 example emails and then we'll move on to the regular code. Indifferent Ghosts, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You've been supporting the heck out of the stream. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Not only did they gift subs, but they also reached out and said, hey, I want to help people learn the code. And so we'll see them on Discord helping out. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Anonymous Chair, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we're going to get into it, folks. If you would like to follow along, exclamation point slides will give you the slides for today. If you want all the materials that we'll use during class, you can do exclamation point Discord, join our Discord, agree to the rules, and then in the follow along materials channel will be all the starter code that we're going to use. So lock in and let's get into it. Alrighty, folks. Ooh, Chaz, please with the hydrate already. Thank you. Cheers to you. What? Oh, Rossi, thank you for all the cheers. I can see some of them come up a little bit earlier. Sarat, thank you for the gifted subs. I appreciate that. 10 gifted subs. Thank you. And the hype train right off the jump. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. For those that are new and don't know, all the cheering, the subs, the gifted subs, the Twitch Prime subs, spending Jeff Bezos' money, that all goes to support the nonprofit I work at during the day called Resilient Coders. So I appreciate you all. We've actually raised enough to pay for one of the stipends for folks to go through the boot camp. So I'm really excited about that. All right. Yeah, it seems like folks are having some trouble with the stream today. Yeah, that's really not on my end, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. Cool. Sorry that you're having some trouble with it. Alyssa, thank you for the cheers so much. Thank you so much. Alrighty. So we talked about networking last class, and the most important thing that I want to get across is the idea that networking isn't just blasting out connections on LinkedIn. Anybody that has a pulse you're trying to reach and add them. You really want to treat networking as this fundamental idea of turning strangers into acquaintances and then eventually friends. And it's a slower process. It takes longer, but in the long run, it's really worthwhile, right? The idea being here is that when you go to apply to jobs, clicking apply does not work. You want to be referred into a position. You want to make sure your resume gets in front of the right person. And a lot of tech companies actually incentivize their employees to refer folks. So if you can get that referral, it goes a long way in making sure that your resume actually gets seen, that your application gets seen, and can often get you into that first round. The number of folks that just click apply is really damn high, and most of them don't get invites to come interview. But if you can network your way into a position, you can often sometimes even skip that first round and make sure that you're at least offered an interview. Now, the way that this works is that most of you aren't going to be applying for a job for some time. So you have 20, 30 weeks ahead of you to network and to start building out your network wherever you are, locally or remote. So by the time you're ready to start applying to places, you're going to look for all of the open applications. You're going to go to your LinkedIn and you're going to see who knows who and start reaching out for referrals. This only works if you've put in the time and effort starting now to have a robust network. The number one thing you can do right now to secure yourself a job in the future is to start building this network. It's really the difference maker. Across thousands of students, hundreds of jobs, the thing that I've seen time and time again be the difference between who gets a job and who doesn't is the network that they've built, right? And I've had a range of folks where this is a very difficult process for them, it's a hard process for them, or it's a very easy process for them, but they find ways to make this work, to build out that network, to build out these individuals that are friends that want to support you when it comes time to apply. I've seen folks that are technically less adept to other students get more offers simply because they invested the time in building out this network. They went to events, they went to conferences, they hung out in Slack channels, they were on Twitter. They did all the little things that made it so that they could build up a small army of folks that knew who they were and trusted them just enough to say, all right, this person might be a good fit for a role. You're not talking about folks that are going to be like your champions. You might have a few champions that are going to no matter come hell or high water, they're going to kick down doors to help you get an offer. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a small group of folks that are willing to say, hey, there's this role at this company and I think you might be a good fit. I know the person over there, so I'm going to send them an email on your behalf. Oh, a level 4 hype train. Thank you. That's cool. Thank you so much, everybody. So the idea here is that we want to make sure that you're starting today. If you're here because you want a job, you need to be doing this. Just like if you're here and you wanted to learn, I said you needed to do active recall and spaced repetition. This is one of those non-starters, right? You are going to get more opportunities if you start your network now. And if this is something that is hard or something that you know is not your strong suit, ease into it. Start small. I'm not telling, the real Johnny Cakes, cheers to you. Thank you for the hydration. This is something you can ease into. You're going to get more comfortable with it. The first few times you're going to go to events, if you've never done this before, is going to be awkward as anything. It's going to be super awkward. You're not going to feel comfortable. You're not going to know anyone, and it's going to be putting yourself out there, especially if you're not extroverted by nature. Trust me, it gets easier. The more you get comfortable with it, the more times you see this, the easier it gets. If events and conferences aren't your jam, start joining Discord, start joining Slack channels, start joining things that fit your demographic and location. Find groups of individuals that are working on cool stuff, reach out to them, build it in the way that works for you, but start now. I like to joke with my students that everyone has 60 like I tell them they have to apply to 60 applications. And 60 applications doesn't mean you click apply on 60 applications. It means that they're going to get referred to 60 different jobs. That's the goal, to get referred to 60 different jobs. Out of those 60, even if you're referred, half of them will probably ghost you. The other half, you'll get the first round. Out of that first round, half of them will take you to the next round. That's 15, from 60 to 15. And you've been referred or you've networked your way in. Let me say that one more time. 60 applications that you were referred into or you networked your way into, and about half will ghost you. You can go online and read on Learn Programming or CS Career Questions of people that have done like 600 applications and don't get anything. It's because just clicking apply doesn't work. So they're doing 60 referred applications. Half of them still get ghosted. Out of the half that don't ghost them, 30, about 15, they go into like in person, on site, whatever that might be and during the pandemic, right? And out of that, they get 2 offers. Right now, my current cohort, Resilient Coders, is averaging 2.11 offers per person. So just over 2 offers. So that metric is like very real. Out of the 60 we told them to get, they're getting on average 2 offers. But every single one of those was a networked or referred opportunity. So you have to build it out. Like, see, it's the only thing that's going to save you when it comes time to interviewing time. And you're all coming from different locations. You're all coming from different areas. And so you have to start building out your networks, ideally for your location, or ideally to a tech hub that you would feel comfortable working in or moving to. Or you're going to do the harder route, in my opinion, which is to build out a remote network. If you know that you're going to do remote, you know that there's no kind of serious opportunities in your area or a place you feel comfortable moving to, then remote means you have to find 60 plus companies that you know are remote first. And then you're going to find people that work there. You're going to find the events that they go to. You're going to do some Twitter stalking. It's harder, but it's doable. And it's something that you have to start now. Start now. If you want a job and you're here listening to me, this starts today. If you don't want to do this and you want a job, you just don't waste the next 20 plus weeks. Just leave. It's okay. I'm telling you, this is going to be the difference between a job or no job, is this networking. Your skills, once you're in the door, will get you across and into the job, but they won't open the door for you. Cool. Please listen. Please just start now. Get the awkward ones out. Get the weird that you didn't like the people that you talked to. Find your events, find your conferences, find your Slack channels, find your communities, find the things that are going to make this easier for you, but start now. Cool. Garrett, thank you for the posture check. All right. What if you're new to the field, making a major pivot with no portfolio or anything? What if you're new to the field, making a major pivot with no portfolio or anything? We're going to get you there. No portfolio or anything is okay for now. We're going to get there. You're going to have lots of amazing projects to add to your portfolio. You're going to have things that are going to make you stand out portfolio-wise. But your portfolio and your projects don't, like, they're great. They might help seal the deal, but they don't get you in the door. There's like this big thing about like project-based learning. Yeah, it's great. It's how you're going to learn well. We make fun. Thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Right? But it's not going to get you in the door. What about learning in public? This seems to be kind of the rage right now. Thank you for the cheers. I've seen it work for folks that do it. I think it's an easy way to put content out there so that you can like talk to folks on Twitter and that might be in your close network. But I don't see it with my students how it's been effective at helping them get a job. It's been helpful for them to like have a blog so that when they're in like the final rounds of interviews and people are looking at that stuff, they can point to like, hey, I've been doing this development stuff for a while, see? But I've never seen it kind of like open doors. I've seen it like close deals. So I think like anything you can put portfolio wise or project wise is definitely going to help you at the end. But right now we're kind of like talking about like how do you open the most doors to get you the most interviews so that that stuff matters. And the learning in public can be a great way to like commiserate with other folks. It might give you some relatable friends. And so if that's something you feel comfortable doing, I don't think it can hurt. I think that could be a fun, if it's fun for you, it's something I would try doing. Yeah. I would just hate for folks to be like, I'm learning in public and that's what I'm doing and not actually engaging with the networking. Because most people aren't going to read your stuff unless it's like good content is good content. But yeah. And then there's like the accountability piece of it. I think that's what it's more helpful for, is if you feel like folks are watching you or you're just generally like jazzed about sharing stuff, then it can be helpful. Yeah. Most of my students that have gotten jobs don't learn in public. Most of them don't have blogs. Most of them just have a very simple portfolio and they put all their effort into their projects and networking. So I would say 99% of my students, the only thing publicly facing is like their social medias and their portfolio. And that's been pretty successful for them because they're investing so much time into building their projects and into the actual like one-on-one networking. But if you have more time and you find it helpful for you, sure. What is your advice on volunteer work for friends or nonprofits? Having one like strong organization that you volunteer with can be a really impactful thing, because nothing gets you closer from stranger to friend than like finding like people that care about the same stuff that you do. And so, like I said, I think last class, one of the places I've made some really strong friends are through open source communities. Both things like the Free Software Foundation and just other communities I commit code to. When you're spending all weekend at a conference with someone, that gets you from stranger to acquaintance pretty quick. And then when you're like talking about your code every single weekend, that gets you from acquaintance to friend pretty quick. And so volunteering and open source communities can be often what can get you from stranger to friend very quickly. And so I recommend it. I think it's always gives you something great to talk about in your interviews. And for a lot of you, you're going to be building great projects, but they won't give you any like honest, like real world experience. Like, yeah, like you'll be able to build a project from scratch. You'll be able to like build with all the latest technologies, but that's different than something that's like in production with real users. And so often like open source contributions can provide that. And so we'll talk about more like job search process later on, but I think volunteering and kind of open source can be a great kind of networking, especially for folks that don't want to do events or conferences. Yeah, volunteering is the way to go for sure. So learning in public is like, so folks are kind of confused about this. So learning in public is this idea that's been around for a little while where everything that you're learning, you should just put out there, like create content around the things that you're learning. So if you learn about functions, you write a blog post about functions, and it's kind of taken, like a lot of folks are doing it now, which is cool because you get to see that, hey, humans are human. It does take some folks a while to do some things. It can add accountability to the things that you're doing, and it can help you find communities of like individuals that are learning together. Yeah, so I like it. Often when you're networking, there's kind of two levels to this stuff with networking, right? You want a peer group, which is cool, but you also want folks that maybe are a little bit further along in their career too, right? And so you want folks that are already working in tech, right? So when I'm telling you to network, you're networking with folks that are already in tech, not so much like aspirationally in tech, which is great. Like they're your peers, right? But people that are already in tech so that they can open these doors so that they can refer you to positions. That's your bread and butter right now. So that's what you kind of want to be focusing on is folks that are already in tech that could already do referrals for you. That's kind of where your core focus should be. And I find that my students that focus on that core demographic, they get more offers, right? Yeah. Learning in public, I think is cool. It's not something that I'm necessarily like telling you all to all do. I'm not advocating for it, honestly, right now. It's just something that somebody asked about, so I wanted to talk about it briefly. Cool. All right, so we talked about you met somebody in an event, a conference. There's a normal kind of follow-up procedure here, right? There's a normal follow-up procedure here. You met them. I like to say next day, you send them an email. Then you wait about till day 3, you add them on LinkedIn. And then on day 6, you add them on Twitter. The one thing we said is that you never want to send a LinkedIn message. We all swore, we put up our right hand, we took an oath to never add somebody on LinkedIn without sending a message, right? And in your email, one thing that I didn't punctuate really hard last class is that when you're following up with folks, always find some way to provide value. No matter how small it is, provide some value in that follow-up. And so I'm going to show you what like value would be to me. Okay. So here is like a perfect follow-up email to me. Right? Like if we had met at an event, this is something I would love to receive on my end. All right, so I'm gonna read this out. Hi, Leon. It was a pleasure meeting you last night. The event was so well done and it was exciting meeting such an amazing group of people. I hope you are enjoying a well-deserved break after pulling it all together. So in this scenario, right? In this scenario, I put on an event, maybe a panel. I put on some panels, right? Maybe a panel. Right? And you came to that panel discussion. And so you are saying, hey, it was great meeting you last night. So now I remember where I met you, right? You said that it was a good meeting, like it was a good event. Thank you. And you're thanking me for putting it on. So I already like you. I already like this email. Like this is a good start. Then at the end, you're providing value. Let me read this. Also, I don't know if you saw this yet, but someone just bought a $375,000 first edition Pokemon booster box, and it wound up being fake. The Guardian covered it, and I remembered you mentioned being a big fan. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Cheers, Bob. So this is really important because it showed that, hey, we met at the event. You thanked me for the event, but you also remember something about me. Like we talked about something. I might have mentioned Pokemon, right? So this is providing value, right? You just provided value in this sentence right here. You provided value. And so it's not like you're like doing something for me, but it's something that you're bringing to my attention. It shows me that you just want a little bit more of a step to say, hey, I value you and I value this connection. So never send a follow-up email without providing some even small amount of value. It can be an article you found. It could be, hey, I see that you have another event. I would love to volunteer. Like something. Find a way to provide value. Okay. Somebody said I have some memory issues. It's often hard to remember details. If you're going to an event and you're having a hard time like remembering things about people, slow down with the number of interactions you're having. Try and have deeper or longer interactions, and it's okay to like take notes. Like I have don't be talking to somebody and like taking notes like okay, yeah, that's great. But like when you're done talking, it's totally okay to have a little notebook that you write down. Leon loves Pokemon. They organized the event, and they have another event coming up on Thursday. Right? I wish I could show you without being a complete creepy person But for the longest time, after every like networking session, I would take notes on the people that I met. That's weird to admit online in front of a lot of people. But like I would go home and I would open a Google Doc with their name on it, and I would write everything I remembered about that interaction. That's what I did. And then I would set up my Google alerts. I would add them to the list that I asked y'all to use. And I would check in every once in a while to make sure if I could follow up, get in front of them, and I would review that document. I have hundreds of these, like hundreds, because I know time and time again that the network has led to opportunities for my students. So I do the same thing for myself. This isn't something like I'm just like making up to tell you all. Like I've helped hundreds of folks get jobs. I've raised millions of dollars for my startups, and time again, it comes down to the network. And so I'm spilling it all, even though it's not the coolest thing, because it fucking works. It really works. Yeah. So this is a good example of a follow-up email. This is something I would love to receive if I met somebody in an event. This is something that I would recommend you doing. So you've met them at an event. You sent a very endearing follow-up email. You wait until day 3. You add them on LinkedIn with a message. You never send anything without a message. You add them to your sheet. You write down that spark on your sheet. If you're taking it to the next level, you set up a Google alert for their name. Taking it to the next level, you set up a Google alert for their company. If it's somebody you feel like you would want to stay in touch with, it's somebody that like you feel as though you would like to work at that company. These are all the steps I'm telling you to take because they work. They work. Nobody tells you that. I just don't get why this isn't like it just works. Like, and like I'm tired of folks like selling courses. I'm tired of folks like trying to tell you that you just need to like learn JavaScript and then these magical trees of jobs just fall on you. It doesn't work. Just learning the skills isn't enough. Like just like we want to believe tech's a meritocracy. It's not. It's who you know and who's going to open the door for you. So please do this. Now, you met somebody that you really like. Either they're just a cool person or they work for a company where you would want to work in the future, and you want to follow up and have a coffee chat. Now, coffee chats used to be like in person. We used to go to this place called like Starbucks, and you would walk in and you would talk to a human and you would give them money, and then you would wait a few minutes. And then they would call your name and they would give you coffee. And it was in like a building where you could sit down like with other people. And so that was called Starbucks. It's this great place that we used to go to. And so we would sit down and then we would talk. So coffee chats used to be where you would sit down with somebody face to face, both enjoying coffee and talking. And often you want to have coffee chats with folks that are in tech, that are software engineers already, because you want to get to know them personally, but also you're hoping that they can give you some advice or illuminate kind of like what the market is in your area or what it's like working at their company. And it's just a chance to get to know somebody a little bit better. Okay. I would normally do 2 coffee chats a week. Pretty much every week for years. And before, I was the person reaching out and I would be like, hey, I see that you've done X, Y, and Z. I love the company that you've started. Can we have coffee? And in Boston, this is like a really popular thing. And everyone that's like come up in the Boston like tech scene, they've been on probably both sides of this. And so I would say my requests for coffee chats had like a 80 to 90% success rate. Like that's pretty high, I think, for like me asking for somebody to meet for coffee. And so I would do this, and I built out my network of all the folks I wanted to meet with. Now that I've been in the community for a while, I have folks reaching out to me, and I took every person that ever, like, and don't email me. I'm so behind on my email. This is not going to work for you. Hit me up on Discord. But folks that would email me and they said, "Hey Leon, can we meet up like for coffee?" I never turned anyone down. Now, schedules might have gotten in the way or something like that, but I never said no. And I've talked to CEOs of 3,000 person companies, to people that were engineering managers. I've asked for coffee, and I'm like, I bet like 80, 90%. So certain tech communities, this is a very natural thing. It's something that is not, you're not a weirdo for saying, "Hey, I want to like grab coffee." It's something that's just like natural to networking and natural to tech. And so for a lot of people, it feels really weird to say, "Hey, can we meet for coffee?" or "Hey, can you give me some of your time?" But a lot of folks have been exactly where you are. They've been new to their career, and they've reached out to folks to get some help or to learn some things or get to know their company. A lot of companies want to hire engineers, right? And so they want to get to know you too, because when you have the skills that they need, they want to hire you. And so this coffee chat idea is not something new. It's very normal, and a lot of people do it. And it's a great way to turn some strangers into acquaintances and eventually friends. Okay. Now, we're not meeting physically for coffee anymore, right? We're doing it virtually, but the technique is still the same. The concept is still kind of the same idea, except it's way easier now. You don't have to coordinate. You don't have to like awkwardly like wave when the person walks in, but you're not sure if it's them or not. You can just share a Google Calendar link and talk for 15 to 30 minutes, say thank you, and kind of that's it. So, for coffee chats, here's my normal pathway. Like if I met somebody at an event, or I met somebody at a conference, or some other way where I met with somebody and I really enjoyed our conversation, I thought that I would love to learn a little bit more about them or their experience, I would send follow-ups. I would send a follow-up, like asking for a coffee chat. I would follow up at 1 week, 2 weeks, and a month. After a month, I don't email them again if they haven't responded. MPF Dev said, how to get their email? Is it easier to get the phone number than the email? Typically, you can reach out through LinkedIn if you don't have their email, but there's also Hunter.io. So Hunter.io, you can put in the company they work for and their name, and it will give you their email. And you get a bunch of them for free per month. So it's very easy to get people's emails. You can do that. Typically, what I would recommend, though, is that you've told them while you met them that you'd be interested in connecting, or you reached out via LinkedIn. Right? But if I can't get in touch with them via LinkedIn and I didn't ask when we were in person, I have no shame using Hunter.io to grab their email and say a nice email. There's a lot of you saying this is creepy. There's a lot of you saying I can't imagine doing this. Well, guess what? People are doing it every goddamn day, and they're building their networks and they're getting jobs. It's normal in tech. It really is. To send a nice email thanking somebody for their time and asking to get to know them better, that's not creepy. That's networking. I need a gift that's like the free real estate gift where I just like turn. It's not creepy. It's networking. Somebody gift that for me, please. Right? Put that on the bingo card. No, because you're not like emailing like their personal email. You're emailing their company email address. So like if they work at, I don't know, let's say they work at Google, You're not like emailing them on like you're not like emailing them on their personal email. They're emailing them on like their Google email address, which you can probably find online. Like most people that are professionals have some sort of way of professionally communicating with them. Yeah. And you send a nice email. And if it doesn't work, you just move on. Dragonoid, hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Thank you. Cool. So what does that email look like? All right, I'm going to read this again. Same kind of opening, same ending. It just has a lovely, delicious, love to have a coffee chat middle. So, hi, Leon. It was a pleasure meeting you last night. The event was so well done. It was exciting meeting such an amazing group of people. I hope you are enjoying a well-deserved break after pulling it together. Great. Context. I know that we met at the event and you're thanking me. I already like you. As I mentioned last night, so we had a conversation. I'm just starting my engineering career and love to learn from successful people such as yourself. Oh, you think I'm successful? I like that. Keep going. Please let me know if there might be a time for you, time you are free to grab a virtual coffee over the next week or two. Before 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m. tends to work best for me, but happy to accommodate what works for you. Thanks. Straight to the point, right? You gave me, Booty Liquor said, butter me up. I buttered you up a little bit and I made my ask. That's it. Buttered you up. I made my ask. You don't have to respond. You can say no. I'm not being weird about it. I'm not creepy. It's networking, baby, right? And so I made my ask. And then I end with providing value. Always end with providing value. Never send a networking email without providing value. I don't care how small the morsel the value is. Never end a networking email without providing value. All right. Also, I don't know if you saw this yet, but someone just bought a 375,000 first edition Pokemon booster box, and it wound up being fake. The Guardian covered it, and I remembered you mentioned being a big fan. Have a great rest of the week. Cheers, Bob. Right? It's very small, but it's value. It shows that you listened to me. It shows that like you went out of your way to like link an article like that ends this email on a beautiful note. And if you send me something like this, I'm definitely going to respond, especially if I hadn't seen that article. Hell yeah, I'm responding. Damn, Bob is smooth. Bob is smooth. So now the idea here is that I thanked them for their time. I made my ask and I provided value. Those are the three big things, right? Thank them, made my ask, provided value. If you can do those, like, you don't have to use this exact words. I just wanted to show you an idea of what I'm talking about. But something along these lines is going to get a response significant portions of the time. And you got to start shooting your shot, right? Especially if you have no network in tech. Like if you're starting at zero, you don't have the luxury of saying, Leon, is this weird or creepy? No, you don't have that luxury. You got to start doing it. And I guarantee you're going to do some weird stuff in the beginning. You're going to get some weird responses back. You're going to do things wrong. That's okay. Just like we vomit our code, we vomit our networking in the beginning. We learn from our mistakes and we don't ever do them again. And we keep growing, right? You can't let the fear overcome your action. You have to act. You have to build. You have to grow. And the earlier you start this, the better off you are. Let's get weird, yo. Cool. So hoping these two scenarios, that these kind of help you and they can give you an idea of like how you should be responding and following up with folks. I'm going to share more as we kind of go over and I give you the reminders to network. But start. Everyone starts this somewhere. And the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be. And you're going to get better over time. Don't let the fear stop you from starting. You will get better. It will get easier. And you're going to grow your network to the point where you're ready to start applying. You're going to have folks that like you for who you are, have enjoyed getting to know you, and they're going to be happy to refer you to opportunities. All it takes is starting. Cool. Row 25 said, social skills are skills. Just like coding, you can get better at it. Absolutely. And if you're really looking to get started, the book I recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's already on our Discord. You can find it for free online. You can find the highlights. There are videos that cover it. It gives you a lot of the rules that you should follow for this to work. Cool. All right, last reminder, use the sheet. If you click on this lovely link, it'll take you to the sheet. Excuse me. Ooh, Rizo, thank you for the posture check. Hold on, let me get this right. There we go. All right, so with the sheet, you can put in the event where you met the person, the date, their name, their position. The spark is kind of like what you remember about your conversation, that little nugget that you're going to throw in the follow-up. Their email if you asked for it and got it, or if you found it online or through Hunter.io. And then just some reminders for yourself. Did you follow up? Did you send your follow-up email? You should have. Did you add them on LinkedIn? You should have, with a message. And did you follow them on Twitter? Right? Kevin G with the hydration. Cheers to you. Thank you. So please use the sheet. It saves you a lot of time, especially if you're doing this over years. Knowing where you met someone, what's something that reminds you of them or that you talked about is really helpful. And this is going to be the people that you go back to when you're first starting your job hunt. You're going to be like, hey, I met you at this event. We talked about X, Y, and Z. I'm now in the market for finding a job. Do you know anyone that's hiring? Very simple email that you're going to be sending out to all of these people. That's going to be the start of you getting new opportunities. Zilke said, I don't live in a country where tech is a big thing, so sadly there are no events where I can meet new people. The wonderful thing is all these events are online. Remote's becoming a bigger thing than it ever has in the past. And so you can find events, conferences, you can find working groups that are working on building projects together all remotely. It has never been a better time for remote work than now, right? Is it harder because you don't have a locality that you're focusing on? Yes, but you can do the same process. You can think of 60 to 100 remote first companies, meaning that their whole company is remote. They don't have a physical office. They're remote first. Put in the legwork to find 60 to 100 of them that have open engineering positions, right? And start your process of figuring out where they hang out, who's on their engineering team, what events are they going to, what conferences are they going to, read their blogs. Is it more work if you're remote? Yes. Is it harder if you're not in the country and you might need sponsorship? Yes. But is it possible? Yes. I think I'm going to do a separate session because we have a lot of folks that are remote or wouldn't have opportunities close to them. So I'm going to do more research. I'm going to talk to my friends that are remote first companies. And I'm going to put together like a session on if you don't have a local place or like the city near you doesn't have like a strong presence tech wise, like how can you network into positions? So I'm going to do that. I'll probably make it part of one of our office hours, or maybe I'll do like an extra class just on that. So give me the week to work on that, and then I'll announce when we're going to do that. So if you don't have a city or a local place to network, I'll put together some like best tips and tricks, and I'll talk to some friends that have done it, and I'll put together like slides, and we'll talk through how to do that. Yeah. Visa sponsorship is a whole other conversation. I have some experience with it. It's very hard, but we can talk about that too. Could we do a job fair? Possibly. We'll see if we can figure that out. I think that would be fun. Cool. Alrighty. Use your sheet. And then questions while we're here, folks. Questions. I can't believe we've been live for almost an hour with this networking stuff. It's so important. I'm totally happy I just spent an hour doing this. I can't tell you how important this is. People ask me like, hey, Leon, I studied my ass off. I know all this code. I can build projects, but I'm not getting any jobs. And I'm like, show me your network. And they're like, network? What's that? Never met them before. Leon, how do you expect us to report back on our network in terms of confirming coffee chats and whatnot? You're going to share your sheet with me. So you're going to share your sheet with me. I'm going to have a Google form to submit your sheet, like the link to your sheet. You're going to make it viewable to folks that have the link. And then I've been working on a little bot that can like make sure that rows have been added. So that's how we're going to do it. You're going to share your sheet with me. I'm going to have something that hopefully can like look at all the rows and make sure it's growing. And that's how we're going to do it. So yeah, you're going to share your sheet with me. Say that. Everyone try saying that 5 times fast. Share your sheet with me. I don't know why words are hard sometimes. Are you stealing our connections? Hell yeah. This has all been a ruse. It's just one big scam to get your networking so I don't have to do it myself. You got me. Leon, what about establishing a relationship with a recruiter? Recruiters are interesting. There are 2 kinds of recruiters. There are in-house recruiters, and there are recruiters where their job is to recruit, meaning that in-house recruiters work for a company and only that company. Recruiters that don't work for a company, anyone that hires them, they try to place positions for. I typically have very good interactions with in-house recruiters, like recruiters that work for a company. And I've unfortunately had some pretty poor experiences with like recruiting firms and folks that are recruiting for any company that pays them. There are some phenomenal recruiters. There are some phenomenal recruiters that are not in-house recruiters. Once you're set up online and your LinkedIn is good, your portfolio is good, you have some sort of presence, you're going to have a lot of recruiters reaching out to you. So I just have a standard boilerplate that I respond to all of them with very specific demands. And that has worked out really well. I typically don't respond unless they like actually have read my demands and say they have a real opportunity, because otherwise I've wasted a lot of time. So I'm very friendly. I have a canned response, and I don't invest a lot of time in recruiters, but they can be very helpful, especially early on too. What are the demands? So I'm very happy where I am. It would take a lot of money for me to leave where I currently am. So one of my demands is an absurd amount of money. My other demand is the type of role. I'm very happy to be an engineering manager. Like title is important to me. I'm looking for certain locations. I'm looking for certain things that you're working on. I would only join a company that cares about social justice. So there's like a lot of demands. It's a pretty lengthy response email. But it's boilerplate. So I'm not sitting there typing it every single time. I've thought about it once and everyone gets it. And I'll probably I don't know the exact numbers. I'll look when we get to like how to start your job pipeline. I'll look. I would say on a good week, I get 5 to 10 emails, or 5 to 10 people reaching out on like a really good week, like 5 to 10. And so like 5 to 10 a week is like hundreds a year. And so I just have a response that goes out to them. Maybe 3 a year, like hit the demands and say, we have the perfect opportunity. So it's pretty low effort on my part to get like 3 like potentially great offers. Yeah. What would you consider a tech hub, city, or area? Zeus, just a place that has lots of job opportunity, like places that are actually hiring software engineers. And so there are a lot of cities in the US, there are a lot of cities internationally that just have a large number of opportunities, a large number of companies that need engineers. And so it takes doing some research to figure out if it's a hub or not, meaning going on Glassdoor, going on Indeed, going on job websites and just looking, are there people hiring? That's kind of it. You mentioned giving us some LinkedIn guidance at some point. Yes. So once we're able to get to the week after the holidays, we're going to start thinking about our portfolios and online presence. And I'll give some LinkedIn advice then as well. Why do companies ask for degrees? You'll find that a lot of companies do ask, but more and more it's becoming less and less of a hard requirement. Most of my students at Resilient Coders do not have a degree, and honestly, it doesn't come up a whole lot in the process. And then there are a few companies that it's just like a non-starter. Like if you don't have a degree, they just don't even interview you. So there are still some companies that have like hard requirements. Typically those I find for older companies or companies that do like financial technology or something where it's a little bit harder for them to like skirt like the new agey type ways of going about it. But when I started really doing this 4 or 5 years ago, it was a bigger thing. You would see people asking for it more, and it was kind of a deal breaker. I would say over the last 4 or 5 years, it's still a deal breaker for some companies, but it's becoming less and less. When you have really big companies like Google saying we don't care about degrees anymore, it's kind of hard for your startup to care. You know, like if the largest tech companies say we don't care about degrees anymore, it's kind of hard for you to say that you do. So it's changing, and I think it's changing for the better because a degree has no indication of whether or not you're a good software engineer. Yeah. All right. Can you talk about passion projects in regards to us getting noticed? So my advice for anybody that's new and wants to learn how to code, my advice is always like, learn the basics, right? Build a passion project and then start the interview process, right? And so if you like learn the basics, that's all you need. And once you know the basics, you should immediately start building, right? And through that building, you'll learn way more than any tutorial you would ever have known. And then once you've built something big, concrete, and tangible that you can point to a hiring partner and say, I've built this, you're ready to start interviewing. And so those passion projects come up in all your interviews. They really help you reinforce concepts that you kind of knew or didn't know. So super important. One of the most important things you'll do, part of 100 devs, your passion project will be the most important thing you do, more so than class, more so than any of the things I'm going to spout out my mouth. Your passion project is going to teach you a lot. That and your networking, of course. Ooh, Mac Tay with the stretch. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hold on. Not that kind of stream, folks. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the stretch. My OnlyFans is only 1 million channel points. You could get there. All right. I think we've gotten through some good questions. We got through some networking. I feel like I'm ready to come off my my pulpit here, but just because I wanted to show this GIF again. It came up last week. I don't know where it's from. I find it really awkward, but we're gonna leave it up here because it's time to take a break, folks. We've been going for over an hour just talking about networking. It really is important. Please start now. Please don't wait. Please do this. If you're here because you want a job, you want to change your life, you want a new opportunity, the networking is the important thing. If you just like left right now and didn't listen to me ever again, and all you did is networked and kept learning, I would be a happy person. Like if you left the Discord, you left this chat, I'd miss you. I really would. And you just networked your ass off and kept learning, I'd be happy because it's important. All right. Let's go ahead and take a break. Let me bring up the timer here. As always, 5 minutes on the clock. Please get up. Please go hydrate. Please say hello to your loved ones if they're around. And we'll be back here in 5 minutes. I'm going to bring on the tunes. If you have questions, I'll answer some questions. Green Aphrodisiac said, is networking as important for freelancing? Probably even more important for freelancing. Freelancing requires trust. Like they have to trust that you're going to be the one that can deliver on the project. And so most of my clients are friends or friends of friends or people that vouch for me when I do my freelancing. So I would say networking is probably even more important for freelancing. Do you think it's necessary to have a professional Twitter when networking? Yes. I recommend having a professional set of social media. If your regular social media is too spicy or you have some concerns about having like public facing personas, that's totally okay. Have a developer or developer persona that you use for all of your social media stuff. Passion projects take time, so this means we shouldn't take on any freelancing projects or gigs. I think that's important for each person to decide. Like if you need money, then you should definitely take on freelancing projects. I think doing a freelancing project first with that's just like HTML and CSS and then digging into a full stack passion project is the way to go. That way you have some real client experience. You have something that's full stack. Yep. MacTay said, are we having office hours the Saturday after Thanksgiving? I actually don't know the answer to that yet. I'll let you all know on Tuesday though, but we're definitely having office hours this Saturday. So hope to see you all there. Leon, is it 5 people total that you have to meet or 3 people and coffee chat with 2 of those? It should be 5 people in total. Great question. Leon, when will you cover starting to freelance? In about 2 weeks. So the week after we get back from Thanksgiving is when we'll go over that because we'll be able to build real world sites. Gucci or Jeezy Burr. I'm going to say Gucci. Knox, what class did you play in WoW? I honestly don't remember. My WoW experience I think I've told this story before. My WoW experience was I was in college. I played the free 1 month on WoW and I didn't go to class. I didn't shower. I pretty much didn't eat. And all I did was play. And at the end of that month, I told myself I could never, ever play this game ever again. And I haven't touched WoW since. I watch a lot of WoW streams. I love the idea of it. But I would literally waste away because I have no self-control when it comes to that game. So I tried it once and I'll never do it again. DM Bull said, what's your CSGO rank? I hate playing competitive CSGO. I hate playing competitive. I love casual. I'm weird. I love casual servers. I love surfing. I love KZ. I love all of the stuff that's not competitive. I will still beat you in Scouts Knives, but I don't play competitive. Yeah, which is weird, I guess. Let's do a casual CSGO Sunday. I'd be down to do that. I think that'd be fun. Low grab Aztec Scouts. Ooh, you speaking my language. I agree, Reptar. Yeah, the community is not the best on some days. Jimmy, yeah, I play competitive Pokemon. I don't know. I just like, as Reptar said, I didn't really ever really like the competitive community in CSGO. Yeah, so I just never really got into it. CSGO Zombies. Yeah, I play a lot of Zombie Run. Play a lot of mini game servers, a lot of Jailbreak. Like, if you see me on Steam, I'm probably playing like some weird mini games on. I still play Source a lot because I like the mini games. All right, folks, come on back. I hope you had a good break. Hope you got some water. Hope you hydrated. Hope you had some fun while you were away. All right, let's get into this, folks. All right. So, just because I don't know where this came from, let's get into it, folks. We got some stuff we want to cover, some fun layouts to build, the golden rule, separation of concerns. Our HTML should just contain our content. Our CSS should contain our style, and JavaScript should contain our behavior and interaction. Why, chat? Can I get a wall of answers, please? Spam it. Let me know that you're back. You know the answer to this one. There we go. Yes, it's for organization. It's for organization for yourself. It's for organization for the team that you're working on. If somebody wants to make something pink, they can go to the CSS and know that the changes they make will take effect. If they want to make something wiggle, they know that the changes they put in JavaScript will take effect. They know that if they want it to have more content, the changes they put into HTML will take effect. If you're not agreeing to these rules, it's going to make it harder for you to come back to your code later on. And it's going to be harder for folks to work with you and understand the decisions that you made. So separation concerns, golden rule, important topic. We talked about progressive enhancement a lot in previous classes. This idea that our sites, the core of our site should be HTML. That HTML should be wrapped in a chocolatey coating that is presentation. So just a little bit of CSS and then a thin layer of candy coating, which would be our JavaScript. So core would be our HTML, CSS a little bit on top, and then JavaScript an even smaller amount going around. And I thought of the progressive enhancement today when I was on Hacker News because I saw this really cool site called 1MB Club. And so if you look at it, what it's about is all of the sites they have listed are less than 1 megabyte in terms of resources, right? So the entire site loads, including all the HTML, all the CSS, all the JavaScript, does not exceed 1 megabyte, which is pretty cool. Like that's a great accomplishment. And so if we look, like NPR has a really cool one where their entire site has all this stuff stripped out of it. Everything that would make the site heavy is gone. So folks that are on rural internet connections or that do not have high-speed broadband, they can get their news, right? They can get their news without having to burn through their cellular data or actually be able to get to see the things that they want to see. So I love this movement of folks really internalizing this idea of progressive enhancement because there are so many folks that don't have the luxury of high-speed internet access. And if you can cater to them, you can get a lot of new users. That'd be the greedy reason, but also make sure they can actually see your content. So there's a lot of cool stuff here. I recommend checking it out just to see what you can do if you kind of buy into this idea of progressive enhancement, right? Alrighty. There's also this stat here that blew my mind. 22 million Americans, roughly 35% of the nation's rural residents, lacked broadband. And that was in 2017. And in 2015, AOL said they still had 2 million dial-up subscribers. One of the videos I've been watching a lot of is Elon Musk's Starlink is finally rolling out service to folks. And so you can get high-speed internet access for $99 a month. So for $99 a month, folks in the middle of nowhere are getting, I saw one person that set it up over 100 megabits per second. So that's like most folks from Comcast like get like 30, like in the basic package. So they're getting 100 in the middle of nowhere with a 35-second ping, which is blows my mind that the ping is so low. And so and they're promising that this is just the start. They're saying that it's going to go up in speed and the ping is going to get better for $99 a month. That's mind blowing. So we're about to see this new wave of these 22 million Americans, if they can afford that $99 a month, and hopefully the cost comes down, that will get access to high-speed broadband. It's pretty cool. Keep an eye on it. A lot of YouTube videos are popping up of people installing it, which is pretty neat because you can see like their real world examples. All right. Chat, where does our CSS go? Does it go inline, in the head, or in a separate file? Like, where do we write our CSS, not where do we link it? Boom. Separate file. Well done, chat. Well done. All right, let's play our favorite game. What is this? Chat, what is this? Diabolical. Blue circle. It's a rule. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Chat, what is this? A value. Indie Blow with the first value. I saw it. Well done, well done. And let's do one more. Chat, what is this? What did I just circle, chat? Declaration block. I jab first. Nice. All right. So remember, the whole thing is a rule. A rule is broken up into a selector and a declaration block. A declaration block is broken up into declarations, and declarations are made up of properties and values. Well done. Well done. Remember that the rules that we write above can be overwritten by the rules that we write below due to the cascade. The stuff that's written above has the chance to be overwritten below, but we can only override things in the cascade if what is true. Chocho got it first. The rules above can only be overwritten by the rules below if, yeah, the specificity is the same or higher. So this rule right here had a specificity of 1. The rule above it also had a specificity of 1. So the color goes from red to blue. Cool. We learned about how to select specific elements using our relationships. So we have parent-child relationships. When an element is directly inside of another element, we call that a parent-child relationship. And we can note this in our CSS by simply having a right caret. Cool. We can denote any type of parent-child relationship, no matter if it's levels deep, by having a space. So here we're saying section space P, and we'll grab this hello Twitch, even though it's in an article, because it doesn't matter how deep it is or how many containing elements there are. Whenever you have a space, it means any element inside of a parent element, no matter how deep you want to go. Cool. We also have sibling relationships, where we're talking about making this hello YouTube red because it has an immediate sibling, meaning that they're both inside the same parent. Both of those paragraphs are inside of a section. So when we do P plus P, it grabs the second paragraph. It's the only paragraph that has an immediate paragraph before it. Cool. All right, we talked about IDs and classes plenty of times now. IDs are unique identifiers. It enables us to target one element and only one element. So in this case, we have the ID of zebra, which is going to target the paragraph hello YouTube and only that paragraph. Each tag can have how many IDs, chat? How many IDs can each tag have? Ooh, cross with the answer first. 1. Nice. Each tag can only have one ID, which is different from classes. Each element can have pretty much as many classes as you would like, and classes apply styles to multiple elements, right? You can have a class of Bob, like we see here on 2 paragraphs, that's making both of those paragraphs red. So we can apply those classes to as many elements as we want, and each element can have one ID and as many classes as you would like. Cool. All right, chat. How many points of specificity does this rule have? Go for Mitch was ready. 112, exactly. We have 10 points for the class, 1 point for the span, 1 point for the paragraph. That gives us 12, and then 100 for pizza, which gives us 112. Nice. And we can actually see that up here. We have an ID of pizza, space, a paragraph, and a paragraph that has the class of gone, right? That has a span with the class of gone. So it works. Let's keep going. How many points of specificity does this rule have, folks? You're like, I've seen this. You're doing like the GIF where all the numbers is floating. They're like, I've seen this before. I know these numbers. Yeah. 131 exactly, right? We have 10 for Bob, 10 for unicorn, 10 for robot, giving us 30, 1 for the P for 31, and 100 for the ID, making it 131. They came to me in a dream, Cross. I love it. And how many points of specificity does this rule have, chat? Nice. Perfect. 1,130. Let's see. We get 10 for Bob, 10 for Domino's Pizza, 10 for Robot, 100 for Diet Coke, giving us 130. But we have a bang important giving us 1,000. So 1,130. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. We're powering through this recall. Chat, why do I add this stuff to like every lecture, every class? Why is this stuff here? Lovely. All right. So I make sure we're all on the same page. Spaced repetition, right? This spaced repetition is how we make sure these concepts stick. I get some questions from folks. They're like, Leon, you like show us stuff and then we move away from it. Then we come back to it. It feels like we're jumping around. Yes. I want you to see concepts. Then I want you to see them again and again and again, to the point where you've seen them in different areas, different places, and it sinks in and it sticks. Right? And so the idea here is that we're doing spaced repetition in class. I'm highlighting the important stuff. You're going to always see the important stuff more than one time. We're going to do practice problems with stuff more than one time. I'm going to show you old ways of doing stuff, new ways of doing stuff. We're going to jump from the new to the old. You're going to feel comfortable with it all. And we're going to spend time building in this repetition. We're going to be building in active recall, right? We're trying to reset that forgetting curve so that for the rest of your engineering career, you don't forget it. Okay. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate you. All right. Let's code the box model, folks. Remember, the box model, we have an element, and if we're talking about the width of an element, it's the width plus its padding plus its border. If we're talking about the height of an element, we're talking about its height, its padding, and its border. Remember, every single thing in web development is a what, chat? Every single thing in web development is a what, chat? Sir Peanut, it's all boxes, always has been. Cool. Everything's a box. Padding increases the distance between the element and its border. Cool. We have some practice code. Let's code the box model. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Usually, Chris, when are you not, Chris? That's a good question. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. Spending Jeff Bezos' money. I love it. Let's take a look in the starter materials. If you are new and you would like the materials that we're about to work through, !Discord and chat, join the Discord, agree to our rules, and there will be a follow along materials channel that'll have everything that we're going to go through right now. All right. So here we go. If you look in the HTML, we have some work to be done here. some things that we've seen before, some rules that we've seen, right? And so go ahead, open this up, write your CSS to make this work. I'm going to put, let's do 4 minutes on the clock. 4 minutes on the clock. Not going to share anything important. Open it up, get to work, and I'll see you in 4 minutes. Didn't we? It looks awfully familiar. Can you do it? Can you do it again? I just opened up the folder, done. Box model practice. In different ghosts, what programming languages do you use? Day to day, I mainly use full stack JavaScript, Node, React on the front end, write a little bit of Python. Been learning more and more C++. I always think languages are like tools. So if I need a different tool, I'll learn it. I've used Scala a lot in the past. Yeah. I've used Ruby and Rails a lot in the past too. We won't be touching on Python. I like folks to not have to context switch, and so JavaScript is kind of the language we'll keep with for the whole bootcamp. Man, this one has been done fast. You've seen this before. You've done this before. You should be able to bang this out. I'm seeing some folks getting done. Nice. I love it. I've been writing more and more TypeScript. Wonderful. Yeah. I'm a fan. Will it be all right to do algorithms in Python rather than the JS? Sure, be your preference, but I think learning one language intimately and in detail can be great before moving on to another. All right, we got some dones. Oh, funny commentary with the deep, not wide. Exactly. People typically spread themselves out too thin when they learn multiple languages early on. Not saying that you can't, but if you're talking about learning a language to build full stack applications and then you want to learn something else for data structures and algorithms, that's rough. Go deep, not wide. Would you say it would be better to learn the programming language first? Yeah, you want to go deep with one language first. Once you learn all the core stuff, you can move on to other languages down the line. But my philosophy is learn enough to get the job and then learn more while you're getting paid. Done. Nice. Getting done. Finished, done. Nice. I love seeing the finishes coming in. Maya said, Leon, we're going to go over SEO with you. Just the basics, just a little bit so that you don't shoot yourself in the foot when you bring your projects live. Alrighty. 30 seconds. Finish in, dig deep. Loving the wall of done. I know this was done before. I know that this is some spaced repetition. All right. 5 old seconds left. Come on in, folks. Good job. All right. Good stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at it together real quick. We've done this before, so I'm going to go fast through it. If you want to see a little bit slower, you can look at last class where we've done it as well. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Going to go ahead and copy it and then turn it into a comment, save it. And let's go ahead and power through this. H1, some padding on 3 sides. Remember, we can use the padding shortcut. So we can do 0 on top, 10 pixels, and then we can do, I don't know, 20 pixels, and then 30, 40 pixels. And what this will do is it'll provide 0 on the top, 20 on the left. Sorry, 0 on the top, 20, sorry, 0 on the top. I'm trying to like look at the screen and I got confused looking at myself pointing. That's what just happened there. So you know that I'm not like, I don't know my directions. I like was looking at myself and then trying to like look at where I was turning, like I'm like a weatherman or weather person, right? So it's always clockwise. So 0 on the top, 10 on the right, 20 on the bottom, and 40 on the left. It's clockwise. And so this will put it on 3 sides. Margin on just one side. So you can do this same notation and put it on one side, or you can do margin on either direction with top, left, right, or bottom. So let's do 20 pixels on the side. Let's do light purple background. So background, and then I forget what the RGB value. What did y'all put for light purple? What did y'all put for light purple? Lavender. All right, let's just do that. Lavender. We're going fast today, folks. Light blue. I believe that the light purple background with light blue lettering. So let's do color. And I believe light blue was a thing. Or let's do sky blue. I like sky blue. That was always my favorite color pencil growing up. All right. Please give the H2 significant padding. So let's do H2. Padding, let's make it significant. What's significant? Let's do like 40 pixels of padding on all sides. Oh, on the top and bottom. So we'll do 40 pixels, 0. Remember, you can just do 2, right? So 2 will repeat. So that'll be 40 on the top, 0 on the right, 40 on the bottom, 0 on the left. A dark green border. Let's go ahead and do border. Let's do 3 pixels, solid, and what did y'all use for dark green, chat? What did y'all use for dark green? Dark green. Cyan is giving me like, cyan like gives me like nightmares from Among Us. I always hate when somebody does like they're like cyan, but they name themselves like blue. Or my favorite is white, but they're black. It's a pro level strat that works because people get confused. All right, and then on top and bottom, so we can do this as border hyphen top. There is a shorthand too, and if we're doing bottom, we can do bottom. Cool. And then we want an orange background. Let's go ahead and do background. Orange, lovely. Please give the section a thick blue border. So let's go ahead and do section. Let's do border. Let's do a thick boy, 10 pixels, solid blue. Height of 300 pixels. 300 pixels. And margin on top, 400 pixels. So we'll do margin, we'll do top, 400 pixels, lovely. And then let's look at the last one here. Please make all the spans. So we're gonna go do span, thin yellow border. So let's do border, 1 pixel, solid yellow. And then what else do we want? Equal padding and margin on all sides. Let's do padding. Let's do something small, 5 pixels on all sides. Margin, 5 pixels on all sides. Let's save it up, and then let's see our masterpiece. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at it. So beautiful. Love it. Love it. All right. So this was a fast one. Who got it the second time around? Who got it done? Anybody not get it the first time but got it the second time? 100% got them all. Dominoes. Dominoes. Did. Nice. Second time. Cool. First try. Love it. Beautiful. Almost wasn't fast enough. All right. Cool, cool. Took a little bit longer. I honestly always forget to have things ready. So what I would recommend is if you're constantly like, oh, I got to open this folder, open this file. What you'll notice that I do is I open the entire folder. So my folder is already open and you're ready to go for the entire class. So just open the whole folder and then you can just pop into the things that you want to do during class. That way you're not like trying to juggle opening and closing stuff. It's just already open for you. And then you just jump in and start writing your code. Boom. All right, time for some layouts. We're going to use floats. Folks. I want you to do all the layouts today and for homework using floats. And there are screams heard around the world. People just flipped their laptops into the air. People just ran. Yeah, we're going to do floats. Leon, why are you making me use floats? You will join a team, and there will be some legacy code that uses floats. You're going to join some team that has floats somewhere, and floats are tricky to learn. They're tricky to understand, so I want you to learn it here. I want you to learn all the weird and oddities here. Also, floats really force you to understand the box model. They force you to know, like, what margin and padding is really doing. They force you to know like what percentages are doing. And so they're messy, they're unbearable, but they force you to actually intimately know what you're doing. And then your second question would be like, well, Leon, why did you show us Flexbox? Why did you make us do Flexbox Froggy? Well, the answer is I wanted you to know how good it could be while you're struggling through the floats. Right? You're going to know in the back of your head, I hate every second of this. And I know I can save myself by learning Flexbox. So then when we're done doing all this crap with floats, you're going to run to Flexbox with open arms and be like, yes, I'm ready for your amazing magic. And you're going to love and coddle Flexbox for the rest of your life. But you have to know the pain, right? You have to know the pain before you get the joy. And so that's why we're starting with starting with floats. All right. All right. So when we're talking about floats, we know that when we float content, it's going to fight to go up and into a corner. So if we float something to the left, it's going to go up and then to the left-hand corner. If we float something right, it's going to go up into the right-hand corner. And it's going to fight to get into that corner. So the side effect of this is if you want stuff to sit horizontally, you can float them up and to the left, and they would sit next to each other if there's enough room. Okay. All right. So we're going to build some real layouts today. We're going to build some real code for real websites, and your homework is to build real websites. No more like boxes. We're going to do one more box when we get to responsiveness because it was the homework and I want to go over the homework, right? But from this point forward, we're going to build real stuff. So let's take a look at what we're going to build. We'll come back to the warning. We're going to build TechCrunch, one of the most famous tech blogs. We're going to build Khan Academy. And we're going to build the BBC with CSS. All right. So we're going to do the HTML and the CSS. Now, the warning I'm about to say is we are not writing good code tonight, folks. We are not writing the code that you would push to production. We're not writing the code that our employers would expect. We're not writing the code that our mothers know that we can write. We are vomiting tonight, folks. This is the cutest vomit. The GIFs could have been way worse. This is the cutest vomit GIF I could find, right? We're writing bad code tonight. We're just trying to get wins on the board. We're trying to get layouts going. Tonight is not the time for perfect code. I'm not going to write perfect code. You're not going to write perfect code. We want to get over the fear, over the barrier that is perfection, so that we can get to action and start to learn stuff. Please, for the love of all that is holy, do not get stuck on one thing and trying to get it perfect. Move on. Perfection comes later. Refactoring is for closers. Perfection is for folks that got the core vomited layout done. Then you can come back. Right? Tonight's about action. Tonight's about getting something going, something that looks close. Right? Please don't be the student that spends 3 hours on a header instead of powering through layouts, learning a bunch of stuff, starting to get rough ideas of how layouts could come together. Don't be the person that just gets stuck on one little thing trying to make it perfect, right? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good is the saying. And this is really important for here. So for tonight, we're going to do some things. We're going to bring up some important things here. All right. We're going to put this in the corner of our screen. You all can see this, right? Can everybody see this in the bottom right-hand corner? All right, cool. We're going to keep this vomiting GIF, and we're going to put asterisk, this is bad code, because we're writing bad code tonight, folks. We're writing bad code. Our goal is to go fast, get shit done, get some layouts looking like layouts. That's what we're doing. That's the goal. All right. That's the goal for tonight. It's all I write. Later on, you know what? Some people said, hey, Leon, I want to start pushing. How can I push? Once you get your layout done, push. Make it look perfect. But tonight, that's not what we're doing. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So here's the first layout I want to do. This bad code is my specialty. All right. So here we go. This is the first layout. And I want to go ahead and see how I would lay this out. So what I'm seeing here in this layout is I'm looking for the big chunks into smaller chunks. And so what I'm seeing here is a nav, a main, and like a section with a UL inside of it, right? And in fact, let me make this a bit smaller because there's like something else like down here that might be a part of it, might not be. So I'm going to say this is like a nav, a main, and then like a section with a UL in it. So if I am going to lay this out, I'm going to start with my nav, my main, and my section with a UL in it. You know what? It could also be an aside. Maybe an aside, right? I think maybe this could be an aside. It's extra. If I got rid of it, the site still works. So we're writing bad code. Let's go ahead and say nav, main, aside. And let's get it going, right? No debating. We're just going to jump into it. I'm going to close this box model and go to layout 1, write some HTML, write some CSS. And so let's go ahead and do a nav. We're going to go ahead and then do a main. And then we're going to go ahead and do an aside. Cool. I don't need a class. All right, there we go. Inside of the nav, if we go back and look at the image, this is where having a second screen is helpful. We see that there's an image, maybe like an H1 or 2, join extra crunch. I guess that's probably like an H2. That's probably important to them. Some sort of login, which I'm just going to say an anchor tag. And then we got a list of links here, a list of links. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead into our nav image. We're going to say H2, which is extra crunch. And then we're going to say that there was like an anchor tag that was login. And then there was a list of links. So LI, UL, LI. And then inside this LI, we're going to do another kind of just href equals, and we're going to go ahead and put just a placeholder here. The octothorpe is just a placeholder. The hashtag, we call it an octothorpe. And then the first one was, what was the first? It said search. This actually might be like a form, but we'll get to that later. Startups, videos, audio. So let's just say, let's skip that. Let's do startups. And there's like 8 of them. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. Cool. Let's copy and paste this. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. All right. That seems like a good start for the nav. Let's look at the main. The main has like a section in it, or maybe the main's just it. So we'll just do like an H1, a paragraph, maybe like an H4 or span, and then an image. What's China's fintech market can teach the world? All right, let's go to the main. H1. What China's fintech market can teach the world. All right. And then after that was a paragraph. I don't want to type out this whole paragraph. So I'm just going to hit P, hit tab, and then all I'm going to do is type the word lorem and hit tab. And so lorem is lorem ipsum. It's just filler text. I'm just going to take the first sentence of the filler text, and there we go. You don't have to be coding along. I don't think coding along is the move right now. I'm just doing the first one, and then I'm going to give you some time to do the other one. Let's just do it together for right now. Don't feel like you have to panic. Follow along. You can always watch this back and try it on your own, and then rewatch what we just did. But I'm just kind of showing you how I would vomit out this first example. All right. If you have like an extra screen, maybe you can try following along, but I think it'd be kind of hard to do both. So for now, you can just follow me, watch what I'm doing, and let's kind of just talk through these decisions. So we had a paragraph, and then after the paragraph was that like span, or I guess the person who wrote it could be a heading, like it describes the content. We could be favorable here, but we're going fast. Let's just say Danny, what's his name? Cool. There we go. How do you make text wrap in Atom? You go to View, and then inside of View, there is Toggle Soft Wrap. All right, so I had that, and then there was an image at the bottom. Cool, there was like an image there. All right, so if we look, we've gotten our nav so far. We've gotten the H1, the paragraph, the span, and the image. And then we have like this aside that has a UL, and I'm going to say that each one of these is an LI. Like it's a list of links. Each one is an LI, and there's like a span underneath of it. So let's go ahead and do that. UL, LI. I'm just going to do the lorem trick again, and I'm just going to take the first sentence, and then I'm going to put a span underneath of. Well, actually, let's do the LI. Let's open the LI and use the LI as a containing element with the paragraph with lorem inside, just the first sentence. And then I'm going to do a span after with the person's name. So I'm just going to say person name. Cool. And there is, how many of these were there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just do 4 of these LIs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel pretty confident with our vomited nav, vomited main, and vomited aside. All right. So that's kind of where I would start. Let's go ahead and open this in the browser and see our dumpster fire. You vomit so fast. I do vomit fast. All right. So here it's not bad. Like progressive enhancement wise, we're looking good. All right, we're looking good. let's get this laid out. All right, if we're looking at this layout, I'm going to say 10, 50, 40? 10, 50, 40? I don't know. Let's try it. Folks are asking me, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Because I'm vomiting. This is garbage code. This should make you feel bad about yourself at night. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night and go, ugh, I can't believe I wrote that. We're getting it on the board, baby. We're getting it on the board. We're just doing it. We're getting it. We're playing fast and loose with our semantic decisions. Trust me. Once you just start vomiting, I promise it feels good. Just do it. Just try it. Just take it. Just do it a little bit. Let's let it go. Just let it go. Try it. I promise you it feels good. All right. Cool. We got our nav. We got our main. We got our aside. I feel pretty good with it. We said 10, 50, 40. So I'm going to come down to my layout section here, and I'm going to do nav. And we're going to do width, let's say 10%. And let's go ahead and above it, let's also say main. And let's also say aside, because we want them to all start off with 10%, but really we're just here for the float left. Okay. So just that now the nav, the main, and the aside are all floating to the left. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make the main have a width of 50%. And we're going to make the aside have a width of 40%. I'm going to save that. I'm going to make sure my box model hack is good. We're good. And let's see what this looks like in the browser, folks. Oh, whew. I don't know about you, but let's look at this. All right. That's looking good to me. Hold on, let's take a look. That layout. That's a first try to me. Now, sizing's wrong, right? It's not pretty, but if we're talking about like pure layout, that's it, folks. I'd probably go in and add a photo. You already know, though, you only live once. That's the motto, YOLO. Every day, right? But we're getting there, right? We could do some stuff to clean it up if we wanted to, right? We can make this bigger. We can make that a different color. You can make these a larger size. But if we're talking about just like pure layout, that's it. Right? We got our columns. We got it in the right spot. It's kind of not doing anything, right? So I feel good about that. I would stand up, I'd do a squat, I would stretch, I would go grab some water. And then after I went and got my water and I hydrated, I have some lovely tea this evening, some diet green tea. Oh, Reese making me really do it. All right, I'm going to do it. Hold on, right back. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Will, thank you for the hydration as well. Cheers to you. Kat, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. We Make Fun said, why did you give the nav, the main, and the aside 10% width? Mainly because I was vomiting, but also I really just wanted all three of them to have the float left. And if I could also give the nav its width at the same time, why not? Then I just had to override main and aside instead of also having to do nav 10%. So yeah, so this is pretty good. I feel pretty close with this. I feel like this would be a good start. I would come from here, and probably the first thing I would do was start playing with the font sizes. I like to play with font sizes first. I'd change some colors, list style none on these dots, make these a little bit bigger, give them a little bit more height, right? And then I would move on, right? But layout wise, for Vomit, beautiful. All right. Let's look at the next one. Layout 2. Khan Academy. All right. Let's look at this. We have a header. Then I'm going to say like a main. And that main is really two things. I'd probably say like a section with the image and like a section with this stuff. So I'm going to do header main with two sections inside of it. I'm going to start with that. So let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to go to layout 2. Let's go ahead and say header. And then I'm going to do main. And inside my main, I'm going to have two sections. Cool. That's what I'm going to start my HTML with. All right. And then let's go ahead and take a look. I have courses, a form. Khan Academy is the logo. That might be that's just, I guess that's an image. It could be text or an image, not sure. And then like a list of links. So courses could be a drop down. I'm going to say this is all inside of a nav. And the reason why I'm going to say this is all a nav is because this is all navigational content. Like this is going to be at the top of every single page, no matter where you go. It's going to be at the top. A drop down can be somewhat complex to build. You can use selects here. There's some other options you could do. But for right now, I wouldn't worry about it being a drop down. I'm just going to put an anchor tag. I'm vomiting. I'll come back. I'll clean it up. I'm going to go ahead and do an anchor tag. I'm going to put courses in there. I'm going to go ahead and do a form. And inside that form, I'm going to have an input. And I'm just going to give it a value of search for right now. After the form, I'm going to have some text. I don't think it's the H1. I'm going to say it's an H2. I'm just going to put Khan Academy. Can't spell academy. That's embarrassing. Cool. Khan Academy. And then there's like a list of links. All right. So let's do a UL with LI with an anchor tag inside of it. And that anchor tag is going to have an href. And I think it was donate and then something else. Cool. And there's 3 of them. So I'm just going to copy this 2 more times. All right. I'm telling y'all, we're vomiting. That's what we're doing. I've said this you're all fighting it. You're all fighting it. Don't fight it. I trust you. Trust me. It feels good. Just do it. Just let it vomit out. Let it roll out into your text editor. It's in the bottom corner. It literally says it in the bottom corner, and there's a vomiting sloth. Like, all right. All right, so I think that's the nav. The death of new folks to HTML and CSS is always the header. So don't get tripped up on it. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like in the browser. It's all stacked. So Booty Liquor, thank you for the posture check. Oh, yeah. All right. So it's all stacked. Chat right now, what's the easiest way to get stuff to sit next to each other? What if we want to sit next to each other? Yeah, float them. Float them. That should be like that should be a catchphrase. Float them. All right, so let's come down here to layout. Let's do header, nav, and let's just say anything inside the nav. That's what the asterisk means. It just means anything inside the nav, float left. There we go. So the asterisk just means everything. So everything inside the nav, we just float it left. Let's take a look. All right, there we go. Everything's floating to the left. That looks good. Let's go give everything a whiff too. Why not? Let's do like 10%. Let's see what happens. Cool. That's weird. Let's not do it on everything. Let's get rid of the width here. There's a few things that are in here. So let's take a look what's in here. There's an anchor tag, a form, an H2, and a UL. So let's go ahead and give those stuff whiffs. Let's do header A. Header, well, they're inside the nav, right? So we can just say nav instead of header. So I'm going to do nav A. Let's go ahead and do nav form, H2, and UL. So nav form, nav H2, and nav UL. And let's make sure that they're all direct children. So I don't want to have to deal with anything further inside of elements. And let's start them off with a width of 10%. Let's take a look. All right, looks okay. Let's put some margin in between them. Let's do 0 on the top and 10% on the left and right. Let's save it. All right, it seemed like a little too much. Let's do 5%. Because that would have made sense if they're all 10 and then that. Whew, that's looking good. That's looking good. I don't like that these are kind of all stacked on top of each other. If we go to inspect, those are the anchor tags or the LIs. Let's go ahead and do nav UL LI. Let's go ahead and give them a width, not a warning. Warning. Shit. It's going to do width. Let's do like 5%, and let's give them a little bit of margin, just like 1%. Don't like it. Let's go ahead and make the UL bigger. Let's make them bigger though. Let's do that. Cool. And then let's do 30. Let's save that. Cool. I like that. And let's get rid of the top and bottom. I like that. And I don't like the dots, so we'll do list style, none. I feel really bad. Anybody's just like tuning in and they don't get that we're just vomiting, right? But look, all right, if we look, all right, we got like courses up here, search up here, Khan Academy up here. We got like donate and all this stuff up here, right? I feel okay with that. Like what I would do is I would reduce the margins between stuff, right? Like I would get rid of the margin on the left of this, right? I would get rid of the margins on this. I would increase the distance on this, right? Manius, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. But overall, in terms of like layout, stuff's where it should be. Now it's just nitpicking the numbers and moving, making size changes, but it's kind of there. So this is one of those places exactly. This is where Flex would have made all of this like one line, but no, we're not here for the one line. We're here for the pain. We're here for the vomit. Right? And so what I did is I floated everything to the left. I gave them some whiffs, just so that they can each take up their own bit of space. I put some margin between them so they weren't sitting on top of each other. And then I made sure that the LIs all had enough room. And so there, I feel pretty good with that. Let's look at the next thing. We have the main with the two sections. And if we look for every student, actually, I'm just going to go to Khan Academy right here and grab this text. Just going to grab this text, copy. And so we know there's going to be an image inside of this section, and then we're going to have like this H1 over here. So I'm going to come to the second section. I'm going to do an H1. Going to put that in there. It copied some like weird spacing. Excuse me. Cool. And then there was like a paragraph after it. I can't be bothered. Lorem. Lorem's a good name for a cat. And then the next thing is, what was after the paragraph? Oh, we had like these button looking things. I hate buttons. I'm going to use anchor tags because I can. And what was it? Learners. Thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Hast814. This is not donation worthy time. I appreciate you. Thank you. But unless you're spending Jeff Bezos's money, this is not the content I want people to sub or cheer to. Even though it's all donations, this is not worthy. I want you to all see me embrace the vomit and know that you can do it too. All right. So that was that. And then we had like an image here. I believe I have the images somewhere. Let's see. Did I not include the images? All right. Well, we have homework layout photos. I'll just leave the image blank for right now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to screenshot it. I'm going to screenshot the image, and then I'm going to take that screenshot. I'm going to call it Con, and I'm going to drag it to my layout 2 folder. All right. They'll never know. All right. They'll never know. If I go back to my code now, we're in layout 2. You should see that there's a Con photo now. So I can just go ahead and do Con dot, what is it? PNG. There we go. All right. There we go. So we can see I did the screenshot and I moved it into my folder. You didn't see that was off screen. So I put con PNG there. We have our H1, our paragraph, and it's both in sections. So to make this really easy, I'm just going to do main section, and we know they want them to sit next to each other. So we're going to do with. Why does it keep doing warning? I got to figure out how to remove that. It's really bothering. With. Let's do 50% because we want them both sitting next to each other, and we're big brain math people. And then I'm going to give them a height. Just heights are bad to set in general, but just so I can see it, let's do 600 pixels. And then we want them to sit next to each other. Float them. Cool. Let's save it. Let's go back and see our beautiful creation. That's pretty close. Not bad. Not bad. If you've never been able to lay out a website before and you've never done it, not bad. What's the it's my favorite GIF too. Everybody seen the leprechaun say yeah. Anybody know that GIF? Hold on, I can see if I can find it real quick. I'm searching for a GIF off to the side. You can't see it. Hold on. Leprechaun. I can't spell leprechaun to save my life. Say yeah. Here it is. Beautiful. It's not bad. If it's your first time ever doing it, not bad. If you knew the reference, see the leprechaun say, yeah, I trust your interneting. Your interneting is good. Your meme quality, high. You're a memer. All right. So I would clean this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and do main section H1. Let's go ahead and say margin top. I don't like doing fix here, but we're just going to do it for now. And then same thing, main section image. We have to do display block too. Images don't like the margin stuff if they're not blocked sometimes. So let's go and save that. Let's come back. Not bad. Everybody seen Leprechaun say, yeah. All right. One job, please. So like if you've never done layout before, you've never been able to build a website, this Vomit's pretty damn close. Like, yeah, we're not winning some awards here, right? We're not Google's not like tracking us to figure out how they can get us to join, right? But it's pretty damn close. And I'm not doing anything extreme here. I'm putting some whiffs, I'm putting some floats, and I'm getting there. You could come back to this, fix the font sizes, put the right fonts, put the right colors, put some background colors, and you're 90% of the way there. So what I want y'all to see, and why I'm focusing on this concept of like vomiting, is that if you can get over the barrier that tells you that you can't do this, if you can get over that little voice in your head that says it's too hard, it has to be perfect, I don't know what tag to use, I don't know the style, and you just start throwing stuff into your text editor, you see me. I try it, didn't work, tried something else, add a little bit more, took a little bit less, right? Like if you can get to the point where this is playful and you're okay being wrong and you're okay putting horrendous code out there on the internet for everyone to see you do it, right? Like it just becomes easier and you're getting almost all the way there. Like play with it, vomit it, like don't get stuck. Like don't worry if you're using the exact right tag. Don't worry if you're using the correct absolute style. It doesn't fucking matter. Get it on the board and come back to it, right? Come back to it. Like get the layout done and then come back to it. Over the weekend, you want to go ham and make this pixel perfect, exact, do it. But don't start there. Don't start there. Too many people start there and they give up. Leon, I don't know the semantic best choice. Leon, I don't know exactly whiffs, or I don't know. Knock it off. Vomit it. I don't care who sees. Hey, Kay, thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. Right? Jeezy in the chat, thank you for the hydration. Sorry, I picked Gucci earlier. Cheers. Right? Like, we got to get this idea out of our heads that we have to be perfect out the gate. No engineer ever has been perfect out the gate. The best engineers, the best software engineers do what we do right here. They're not afraid to fail. They're going to try again. They learn that it doesn't work one way, so they do it another, and they keep playing with it. Hey, Zeus, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. Right? I love that. Indifferent ghosts, move quickly and break things. Hell yeah. You're going to get way more out of this than following some tutorial that shows you, oh, use this semantic tag here and then do this exact CSS line. And you're just like typing along thinking you're doing something that's cognitively like intense. You're not. Have a picture, code it, get the layout, get it moving, and then worry about the details. Yeah, I forgot to do the glasses push, right? I know somebody's going to hit me up on Twitter. I know somebody like checked into this stream and they're like, what the hell are you doing, Leon? What are you teaching them? Fuck you. I don't care. This is the biggest problem early students have. This is the biggest problem. They think it has to be perfect. They spend too much time nitpicking little decisions, and then they give up. They just give up. They just stop. So if I can write bad code and make it get close, you can do it too. All right, let's take a break. We went a little bit longer. It's 2:17. Let's put a 5-minute timer on the clock. And please hydrate. Forgive yourself for writing bad code. Get up, stretch, do what you got to do. There we go. See you in 5 minutes, folks. Please get up. Please leave. Please go what you need to do, what you got to do. I'm going to put some music on. I love the hell out of all you being here, but get up, go stretch. Green. Can we see the CSS again? Yeah. It's horrible. This is bad code, but it's all right. We're okay. Let me make it smaller. Remember, I always share stuff. Let me make it smaller so we can see it all on one screen. Don't worry, I'll share stuff as always on Discord right after class. How did you get the PNG? I did a screenshot. So on Macs, you can do Command-Shift-4. I don't know what the command is on Windows. I know there's like a print screen one. But I did that. What that does is it puts the image on your desktop. I renamed it and put it in my folder. Jersey Boss, I needed this sermon, preacher. Can I get an amen? Amen. Leon, how do you decide on whiff percentages on the fly? Out of 100. So I just kind of look at it quickly. I'm like, all right, if the whole page is 100, what are the percentages? 10, 40. And if I did 10 and 40, I only have 50 left. So the last one has to be 50. If I do 10 and 50, then I only have 40 left. So it's just out of 100. Indifferent Ghost said, what's your favorite project to work on? It was definitely the company I started, Social Sci. 4,000 different universities used our software to power the research. Hands down the favorite thing I've ever done in my life, other than get folks into jobs. Oh, Sabotage, you have the snip tool. Oh yeah, Windows 10, you have the new snip thing. Yeah, that's how you would do it. Windows Shift plus S. There you go. That's cool. Chris, I know you missed it earlier in chat, but it's GIF with a J, not GIF. A few of us will die on this hill. Well, the maker of GIFs said that it's GIF, but he's clearly wrong. It's graphical interchange format. Leon, are we okay to use classes and IDs for the homework? Yes, feel free to go wild with classes and IDs. I'm purposely using nested selectors just so you can see that nested selectors still work, but please use classes and IDs. Mac, it's Command-Shift-4 to get the screenshot. Have you helped anyone to build a nonprofit? Yeah, I mean, I've helped build the nonprofit I've been at for the past 4 years. I started one other. I've helped some folks get them off the ground. Leon, you seem very happy and content with your life. What are your secrets? I don't know if I've done everything wrong. Like, I've done everything wrong and I'm still kicking. I think I have a speech about this that I give to my students in person. I don't know if I'm ready to do it in front of everyone live on the internet, but if there are like big things you could have gotten wrong with life, I definitely have, and I've learned from them. I kept going. I have a wife that loves me. I have a job that I feel excited to wake up and go to every day. So I think that's pretty good. I can't really complain about too much more than that. Any tips about staring at a computer too long? Headaches. Make sure you're sitting correctly and you have good posture. That's gonna be the biggest thing when it comes to the headaches. Make sure you're giving your eyes a chance to rest. Look at something in the distance. Make sure you have a tool like Flux so that the screen brightness isn't hurting you. Make sure you're in a well-lit room too. Like, the screen shouldn't be the brightest thing in the room. That can hurt too. But sitting, taking breaks, moving, at least at the top of the hour like we do, super important. What's your next project, Leon? I kind of showed it on stream a couple classes ago. I'm doing a rap scavenger hunt where you have to know like really weird hip hop facts to progress. And I'm hopefully going to finish that over the holiday, but that's my big project right now. Alrighty, folks, come on back. Come on back. Knox is ready. All right, come on back, folks. Hope you had a good break. Hope you got some water. Hope you were able to stretch a little bit. It's important, folks. We're here for the marathon, right? All right, let's do this last one. I'm going to kill the music here. If you're new and you want the slides that we're following along with, !slides will give you the slides. If you would like the materials that you see on screen, join our Discord, !Discord. That will get you access. Once you agree to all the rules, there's a follow along materials channel that'll give you everything you need for all the materials that we're using. So go ahead and grab that. Alrighty. If you're new and you've been following along, go ahead and give us a follow. That way more folks can learn how to code. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the last one I have here. All right, BBC. Let's try it out here. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so when I look at this layout, the first thing I notice is the header. So I see the header. Oh, no notice it there. Header. Then I see like it's gonna either be like a main or a section. And then I see another section at the bottom. Inside of this like main area, I see a section and a section. And then inside that section is 4 sections. And then down here at this other section, we have like that H2. And then 3 sections with a heading, a paragraph, and a span. So this one seems like there's a lot going on here, but it really just repeats. Like, these 3 are exactly the same. This is exactly what we just saw on Khan Academy, just 2 sections sitting next to each other. So we know that they're going to be 50% each, right? And then when I look at these inside, it's the same exact thing again. It's just 50% sitting next to each other, 50% sitting next to each other. So the beautiful thing about vomiting through a lot of these layouts is you start to see these patterns. And the patterns are they're just done over and over again. They're just patterns nested, right? If you can do this Khan Academy layout, you can do the BBC layout. It's the same thing. It's 2 pieces sitting next to each other for 50% each. And then inside of it's 2 things sitting next to each other, 50% each, right? It's the same thing. And so I really like folks doing these like rapid fire layouts, because then you just notice, oh, the patterns repeat. It's not rocket surgery. I can do this. I got it to work with one. It'll take me a little bit, but I'll get it to work on this one too. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and feel like a rock star. I'm like, yeah, look at that. Pen tricks. We'll do a whole class on pen tricks. That's the secret to code, folks. Pen tricks. All right. let's do this layout: header, main, section. I feel like that's a good place to start. Let's go ahead, layout 3, open up my index, open up my CSS. Funny commentary. What the heck is that? I love that. Brody think. That's hilarious. All right, let's go ahead and do header. Let's go ahead and let's do a main. And then let's go ahead and do a section at the bottom here. I feel comfortable with that. Inside the header, I'm just gonna say this all is a nav. We have an image, an anchor tag, a list of links, and a form. So nav, let's go ahead and do image, which would be like that BBC logo, an anchor tag, which is what was it, sign up? Or was it login? Sign in. Cool, how British of them. Then it was a list of links. And the first one was home and then news. So we're going to put another anchor tag in here. Let's go ahead and put news in there. And I'm just going to put another default. Remember, just the octothorpe for a placeholder for now. And there was how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There was 9 of them. So let's just go ahead and grab and do 9 of these. The heck? I was feeling myself too much, got caught up. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cool. And then at the end here, there is a form. Let's just go ahead and throw a form in here. Cool. And there's an input. It's going to say search. All right. So I feel like this is our vomit, right? This is the quick right here. We got the image, the anchor tag, a list of links, and the form. Let's kind of do the same trick we did last time. Let's kind of just come to the header here. Let's give the header, let's just do a height for now. I don't know, just make it easier on ourselves. We'll reduce it later. Height 100 pixels and a background of black. And we'll do a color of white just in case it inherits anywhere. Because there's black background with white. Yeah. Miss Turner, exactly. I see in chunks. That's the key here. Exactly. I see in chunks. I see chunks of content. Yeah. Will these be due on Tuesday? Yes. Well, there'll be one similar to this that'll be due on Tuesday as well. Cool. So we have our header. It's chunky vomit. Yes. I didn't think of that. It's chunky vomit. That's so good. So if we just go ahead. All right. So we had our header. Let's go ahead and then do everything inside the nav. Let's do that trick that we did before. Everything inside the nav. Let's float it to the left. Float them. And let's start with a width of 10%. Cool. Let's open this in the browser. All right. We got it. Can't really see anything. So let's go in and do our business here. We have the anchor tag, and the anchor tags need to be white. So let's do that first. Let's actually just set color white here. That should grab everything and make it white, right? Let's get it off the header. Jose Jones 3000. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. With the Twitch Prime, spending Jeff Bezos' money. Maybe eventually, through their entire lifetime together, we can put a chip in his billions. All right, let's go ahead and save this. It is saved. Let's refresh. All right, cool. Now we can see stuff, which is good. We know that the image and the anchor tag are width of 10%. Let's go ahead and do the nav UL. Let's make that width of like 50% because we know it's taking up more of that header. There we go. Let's make sure that the form, like the form that's inside the nav, let's make sure that's like width, I don't know, 20%, just so it's taking up a little bit more. Cool. Let's see. And that's pretty damn close. All right, let's reduce the height on this. Let's make it 75, just like a little bit smaller. Like if we're looking, look at that. Okay, I see you. Gotta move this in a little bit. We gotta make this a little bit bigger. Let me inspect this real quick. Form. Let me just hold this down here until I'm happy with it. I don't like that size. Let me go ahead and do display block on everything, just so that I know we're all playing the right rules here. Cool. And I'm going to use the inspector here. I'm just looking at stuff, right? Like this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in with the inspector and just see what's going on. I like it. You can see that there's some margin on it. I can see that the image doesn't have any height or width, so it's not there. The anchor tag is 10%, so we're good. UL is kind of good. And then the form is all right, but the input is getting that asterisk, making it 10%. So if we did that, see how that like changes stuff inside. So we can go ahead and go back to here and say nav form, but we can also do like another one down here, do nav form input. And make sure that that's not 10%. Let's make sure that's a width of 100%, just so that it's taking up the full width of its container. Cool. That's it. Just remember that, like, because I said everything, I didn't do like, I maybe should have done that, right? So that it's as the direct parent. That might change a few things here. See, I don't get the benefit of it like bleeding through to the anchor tags. So that's why I kind of just left it as a gap. So it's just any child, but I'm okay with that. That's pretty damn close. All right, pretty damn close. Like if we look, you just have to add an image. I don't feel like adding an image right now. Anchor tag, we have the anchor tags there. Yeah, I could come in and I can make those anchor tags have their own value. I could give the LIs a border. Right? If I give the LIs border, you'll get that border going. Forms there, but we'll come back and play with that. So I feel pretty good with that right now. Happy. I might center some stuff later, but let's keep going with the rest of the layout. We know that the header, right, is pretty solid. Then we have the main. And in the main, I saw two sections. Like if I look back, two sections, one section, two sections. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and do section and then section. Whoop. And there's like an H2 in there that was like, welcome to the BBC tonight. All right. And then there was an image and then, oh no, it wasn't an image. That was, wasn't an image. If I look here, that image is a background. So I won't put that into the HTML. I'm just going to say this is a section that has an image on the background and has like a heading, a paragraph, and a span in it. So let's go ahead and do section. Let's do H1. And what did that say? Israel and UAE something. Cool. And then after that was a paragraph. And I was going to do lorem. Just going to take the first sentence. Cool. And then after that was a span, right? And that span said Middle East. Don't care, right? Vomiting, getting the layout there. Looks good so far. I'm happy with this. We know that this other section is interesting because it has 4 sections inside of it. And each of those sections have like, maybe let's say like this is like an H3 and a span. So let's do H3. And what did that say? Americans go home. Tensions at Canadian border. Americans go home. Tension at sea border. Quarter. And then there was a span. I said Canada. Cool. And then there are 4 of these. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I feel like that's the big stuff that's here. I don't know if they would be articles because they're not like, you're not going to sit there and like and read them. They're kind of like linking to articles, but this is Vomit. So if you want to do articles, go ahead and do articles. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and do this layout. I know that this section first, these two need to be sitting next to each other. So I'm going to go ahead and do, let me save this and then go ahead and do main right caret section. And I know that I want them to be width 50%. I'm going to give them just a random height for right now. 400, let's do 500 pixels. Normally height can come from 2 ways, either fixed height or the stuff that's inside of it. But since we're vomiting, it doesn't matter. And I want them to sit next to each other and need to be floated. So I'm going to float them to the left. All right, let's save that and see where we're at for right now. Oh, baby. Whew. Everybody seen the leprechaun say, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and fix these bad boys over here. Want to fix those 4. And so we can just say, so section main section. So I could do, if I'm just doing nested selectors and I'm not doing classes, I should do classes, but I just want to show y'all that nested selectors can work. So main section plus section. Main section plus section. I think that makes sense. So go inside the main, find a section who has a sibling that's a section, and all the sections inside of it, give them width 50%, height of 250 pixels because the height of the container is 500, and float them to the left. I'll explain that in a second. And let's go ahead and give them a border just so we can see. Bitchy's like, hell no, I'll give them a class. I could see you giving them a class. I would give them a class if this was for real. I mean, like I said, if you've never been able to build a website before and you're just vomiting this out, this ain't bad. This is as the cool kids would say, dominoes. All right. Yeah, I feel good about this. Let's go ahead and do the last part here, the bottom, which is this section down here. So we can just go ahead and look at that real quick. Let's look at the image. Inside of here, there are 3 sections that each have a heading, a paragraph, and a span, and an image. So there was like an H2 there that was news. And then after that is 3 sections. And that section had an image. Then it had, let's say like an H3. Something happened somewhere yesterday for sure. And then there's a paragraph, right? Yep, a paragraph. Let's just do lorem again. And we'll just take the first sentence. And then we had, what was it, a span that was at the bottom? Yeah, like a span. And the span said something. Cool. Normally I like to keep text a little bit more realistic, just because it saves you some time when you come back and clean it up. But for now, just going to do whatever I feel like. All right, that's pretty good. So section with the 3 sections inside of it. So let's just float them all to the left. So we'll go ahead and say main plus section. So the section immediately after main. All of your sections, go ahead and give them a width of 33.33% repeating, of course, with a float left. And let's give them a border just so we can see them. Actually, no, let's leave it without a border. I think that'll be fine. All right. Let's come back here. Everybody see the leprechaun say, yeah. Chris said, I have a question. On the BBC type of site where things change every single day, how's it going to change? So they're using something called a CMS, or a content management system, where they can do the HTML and CSS layout once, and then as the journalists or editors, whoever it may be, upload content, it gets plugged into these predefined spots. So the layout's probably the same every day, but these predefined slots are there. All right, so look, right? Like, this is what I want you to see. This layout, that's pretty damn close. It's pretty close. This is prettier by far, but we're not that far off. You go in and make some font changes, right? You go and make some font changes. You make some sizing changes here. You put a little bit of margin here or there, and you're going to be like 90% of the way there. Right? Like 90% of the way there. And so I'm going to say it again. When you're first starting out, don't nitpick being correct. You've been doing this for 7 classes. This is like 7 days of like in classroom time that you've done. Hopefully you've been doing your reading and stuff outside of class, but you've only been doing this for like 2-3 weeks. Not even. Remove the fear, remove the doubt, and just vomit your code. You'll have plenty of time over the rest of your life to make the correct, most semantically valid, most correct CSS. Now's not that time. Get a win on the board. Get your chunky vomit out there, and then come back and clean it up over the weekend, right? Get these layouts done, and then come back and say, all right, what can I do if I make these sets of changes? Start to see the patterns, right? Don't get hung up on everything being super correct, because it just is not worth it in the beginning. I will give you tons of layouts in the future where I expect things to be pixel perfect. For the homework I'm asking you to do today and the next couple of weeks, I'm not asking for pixel perfect. I'm asking for pretty close, but that it shows me that you understand what's happening. I'd rather you show me that you understand what's happening with layout than you show me that you know how to pick the exact color or the exact width, right? Now's not the time for pixel perfect. Now's the time to understand, see patterns, ask good questions if you can't get it close. Go into Discord. I'm going to be spending a lot of time this weekend on Discord. I want to spend time with y'all this weekend on Discord. We're going to have office hours on Saturday from 12 to 3, and then I'm hanging out on Saturday. If you have questions, I want to answer them. I want you to come back to these 3 layouts, right? I want you to come back to these 3 layouts and try them on your own. Try vomiting the answers. Try seeing if you can get them close. Not perfect, but close. All right? That's what I'm looking for. Now, please come to office hours. We're gonna go through more layouts. We are going to spend more time like digging into more of these vomited type layouts. We're going to get more practice. Digital Fendi, thank you for the posture check. But if you're saying, hey, like I'm with you, Leon. I see what you're doing. I don't feel comfortable doing it myself yet. Try, and then on Saturday we're going to do more. Okay. If Saturday doesn't work, don't forget that you can always watch the VODs. All right. I want to stop in case there's any questions that folks have right here. Go ahead and throw your questions in. I'll answer your questions you have right now. Then I just want to review responsiveness real quick and then explain the homework, and I think we'll end there for the evening. I think I've never been so engaged. My brain, that cognitive effort is real. Like when you're actually cognitively stressing yourself, you feel it. Can we see the CSS? Sure. Why are we supposed to be watching Independence Day for homework? Because I asked you nicely. All will be revealed in the future when we come back from the holiday. I love this feeling. Dope. Don't ask questions, just do it. This is the one time where I'll say don't ask questions, just do it. Just watch Independence Day. Mom, can I use the TV? Leon said I ought to watch Independence Day. I hate the just do it, but it's kind of a joke, but I kind of really need you to watch it. So please just watch it. You can find every movie streaming. Why do you mix percentages with pixels when doing dimensions for sections? I'm doing percentages for width and pixels for height. And the reason I'm doing that is because I always want my site to be fluid. So like if we go back to all these layouts, you ready for this, folks? Look at this layout. Ooh. That looks good on tablet and then kind of gets squishy on mobile, right? But like you didn't think about that. These layouts, they don't look too bad. That's a good layout on tablet. Let's look at this. Let's look at our Khan Academy here. That looked good until we got to mobile, right? Like it's not too bad. TechCrunch, same thing, not too bad. Tablet looks good, not too bad until we get to mobile. So the idea here is that since we are using percentages for widths, our sites are fluid, meaning that we can resize the screen. And it still kind of works, right? We're not making content decisions what would make this truly responsive, but it's kind of works, right? So that's why we do widths and percentages kind of always. These Frankenstein sites, beautiful monsters. I love it. Cool. When do we start freelancing? 2 to 3 weeks. You'll be ready. All right. Let's continue with the class real quick. I just want to review the responsiveness, talk about the homework, and then we'll end with a lovely raid. And then I will see you all on Saturday for office hours. So responsiveness. Talked a little bit about this last class. It's the idea that our site should look good across devices. Our site should work well on desktop, laptop, tablet, mobile, and every screen in between. And the way we do this is by holding up 3 principles. We want to make sure our sites are fluid, elastic, and that we're making good content decisions. Fluidity is going to come at this point in time from everything being sized with widths and percentages, right? Meaning that no matter like what we do, it's kind of going to look good because everything's in widths. Our widths are in percentages. Elasticity means that things like our font sizes are going to use rems. And then content decisions mean that once we get to a certain size, we can say we want to add or remove things. All the great responsive websites make good content decisions. Maybe I don't need the sidebar at this side. Maybe I don't need these ads on mobile, right? You're going to make good content decisions about what should be seen and not be seen at different screen sizes. Fluid, everything in size and percentages for widths right now. Elasticity means everything is in rems. And then you're making good content decisions. So here's a good example of a content decision. From laptop to tablet, they got rid of this lovely column. They said, you know what? We don't need that lovely column. Also, when they went from laptop to tablet, they actually changed their header to have less things. Only the things that you might need when you're on a tablet or mobile, right? So how do we make content decisions? Chat, how can we make content decisions with our responsive websites? How can we make content decisions? Like, how can we decide to hide or show content? Like, what can we do? Yeah, media queries. Media queries are going to enable us to say, you know what, I want to see this code or I don't want to see this code, right? We can use media queries to make decisions at different screen sizes. So let's go ahead and take a look at what a media query looks like. Here's a media query. We have this idea that we can go between 0 and 600 pixels. This H1 rule applies. If you're above 600 pixels, this H1 will not apply. So if we look at this example here, they can say, all right, I'm going to write a media query that says when this website is on tablet, let's go ahead and do display none on this column. That's what they did. They said, hey, when I get to this size, let's do display none, and got rid of the column. So they used a media query to say, hey, if we're on tablet, mobile, anything other than desktop, get rid of it. And that's what we did. So remember, chat, what 3 things should we keep in mind when we're building responsive websites? What 3 things are important here? What 3 things are important? Dominoes. Fluidity, elasticity, and content decisions. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Cool. So the homework that was assigned was to make this responsive. So you should have made the widths percentages. You should have made, there's no fonts or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about rems for right now. And then you should have written a media query for 3 different sizes, right? So we could have done like between 0 and 600 pixels for mobile, 600 and 800 for tablet, and 800 and 1200 for laptop, right? And then inside of those media queries, just made different decisions. Hide stuff, stack stuff, remove floats. It's kind of up to you, okay? So if you haven't submitted this homework, please do it. We will review it on Saturday. Okay, so on Saturday we will make this responsive. So I'm going to give you a little bit more time if you didn't get a chance to make this responsive. We're going to come back to it now because we're running out of time. I don't want to go over. For homework, I am going to ask you to code some layouts. I want everyone to take a shot. At the 3 layouts we just did. So I want you to go back and try TechCrunch, Khan Academy, and the BBC. Right? So go ahead and try those 3. And then I have shared a few more layouts. I've shared 2 more layouts inside the homework. So if we look at the homework layout photos, let me bring this over real quick. If we look at the homework layout, there is Level Ground, which is actually a client that we had at Resilient Coders. So this is a wireframe, like a high level what the site's going to look like. I want you to go ahead and do that in HTML and CSS. Get it, open it. So you can see it's mainly boxes, right? You can make this bigger so it makes sense. But this should be a pretty accomplishable layout if you're vomiting. Remember, I don't want hardcore correctness, exactness. That's not for today, right? Go ahead, vomit out this layout. There's one more layout here. There's two more layouts here. One that's source and then one that's push. So I'm looking for you to do level ground and I'm looking for you to do source. Yes, I want this all vomit code. I want this all with floats, no flexbox yet. With floats, feel the pain, ease into it. I was born in it, right? I want you to feel the pain, to get into it, to vomit it all out. Add images, yes, but like we did today, you saw me, I took screenshots, I plugged it in. That's what I'm looking for. Not anything wild here. Plug them in. Then for those that want to push, you want to try and get more done, there is a push layout. All right. There's a push layout. And then if you want to push like into the stratosphere, you want to go completely wild over this weekend, try adding some media queries. Make it look good on mobile. If you look at the two things I've asked you to do, here's the source one. This is an image I got off of Dribbble. The author is Max Schneider here. You can see that they've given you the regular layout and they've also given you a mobile layout. So if you want to lean in and do more, you want to push, go ahead and do the mobile. I'm not asking you to do it, but if you want to push, there's your mobile. And if you really want to push, oh baby, do I got something for you to push for. So what I'm asking you to do is I want you to do this simple laptop layout, the simple level ground layout, but there's more stuff here if you want to push. Cool. How are we feeling after tonight? How are we feeling? Feeling good? Oh boy. No vomit left. All right. Got a lot of work this weekend. I'll see you all on Saturday. Let's go ahead and do a raid. As always, let's send them some love, some positivity. Let's give them some follows. I'm going to queue up the raid here, folks. Give me 1 second. Remember, if you hang around for the raid, you get more channel points. If you felt like you learned something, do the raid. Send somebody some love. Send somebody some follows. Make them feel good. End the night with some positivity. Let's have some fun. I'll see you over there. I always like to hang out for a little while in the stream. So let's do that. Let's hang out for a little bit. Let's send them some love. Send them some follows. And I'm going to go ahead and queue up the raid. Plugging it in now. Give me 1 second. All right. Queuing. Don't leave. I'm doing it. I promise. All right, here we go. Hold on. There we go. All right, it's queuing. I'll see you over there. Let's have some fun. Say hello. Have a good night. I will see you all on Saturday. Peace.